It's Juicy Jude, and I'm back. And welcome. If you haven't been here before, please subscribe, like, so we can get some of this higher vibration energy out there. And also, if you're here always and been following, thank you. And I love y'all. So today, I just wanted to, it's funny because I been dealing with a lot of people lately that's having these things going on with their, and to me, it's a lack of being able to handle shit, like in your mind, like somehow, and balancing out like the magician on the earth, on the 3D, but also being able to stay in tune with your intuition. It's a balancing situation. It's a temperance thing. It's a balance. But the point is, what I wanted to talk about today is the sword suit is like of the Nataro is like a very mental shit going on. So the fool comes down on his journey and he goes through the suits, and that's the metaphor. The fool comes down out of bliss and or whatever, where his star is, and I have a whole thing on the fool. So if you on here, so also anyway, the fool goes through the journey. When he goes through the journey of the swords, it's the mind, the journey of the mind, right? So you start out, and the Ace of Swords, it's just like, ooh, it's just this really amazing idea, and plus just really just fresh, not being able to fool this motherfucker. He can cut right through the bullshit with his sword in this place. But it's interesting because the sword suit is different than the other when the journey of the fool. This kind of even goes backwards a bit, but I'm just going to start. The stories of it's different in different ways, but this I'm going to start just with to keep it easy. We're going to go into the Ace here of Swords, which is the new beginning. This is the Ace Man, and this is a version of the Way to Write, but it's just a different artwork, which I kind of liked it. So I have a couple of different ones, but I used this one today. So there he is, cutting through bullshit. And, then something happens in the two where he or she does not know, can you see it? Does not know really what the hell to do. Conflicted, mental confliction. And this is about really just, trusting the intuition in this situation and getting out of the mind, which is about this whole suit. So then we have, this is like, you have to make a decision, shit or get off the pot kind of thing. The Two of Swords, always. Like, okay, what do I do? And not making a decision is also a decision, so it's the indecisiveness, and that means you have to raise it on up for that answer to come. Then we have the Three. This is like the shittiest, the swords are shitty sometimes, right? But this is a broken heart, but you think your heart is broken. You think you're in your heart, but you're not. You're in your mind, you're letting your emotions, you're interpreting them, and you think you have a broken heart. So hopefully, blessedly, it raises up in this situation, or if it goes to the lower octave, it could end up in a codependent, shitty little thing that never lessons are learned. And that's with any card, anywhere, or any sign, anything. We have to make that step in spiritual understanding, or we'll have to repeat it. And it's just a pain in the ass. You might as well learn it. So then we go on to the Four of Swords, which is like, this is a time for rest and recuperation, like knowing when to nurture yourself. It's almost like to a point where there's no choice left because you have to sit the fuck down. Because stress and all of these things will affect your body. We know that the body follows the mind. So then we have this guy, the Five of Swords, which is warning us, like, we have to pick our battles. We need to pick our battles because it's not worth it for the stress and the bullshit that you just recuperated from. And there's a time here with the Six you have to move on, and this is going to lead you to better things, but you finally have to realize that it's a metaphor for your mind. It's time to move up from the bullshit. And then we've got the 7 here. This guy, he's always, you got to watch out. This one here is always, the 7 of Swords is always somebody's trying to fuck you. There's some deceitful bullshit going on. And you have to be, from all the shit you've learned all this way, you have to be wise enough to figure that out by now, or you'll have to go back to the beginning, which really sucks. So try to learn your lessons. And watch your people, especially if there's like a partnership or any kind of like, don't be fooled. Like, oh, this is so great. Like, just use your mind and raise it up. That's what you should have learned already by this suit and the mental conquest. I want to call it a conquest. And so then we go to this one here, which is this is the 8 of Swords. And the 8 of Swords is like, I'm sorry if I'm moving too fast. You're blinded by your own shit. It's like there's something that you're just not facing. You're not letting the sun illuminate it. And it's like you're not making, it's again, this mental shit with this thing. It just keeps testing us. And then we have the 9, which is the worst one. I don't know if it's worse, Violet Flame. I mean, it's just definitely shitty because this is like nightmares. You can't sleep. Your thoughts are monopolizing your mind. You can't even get into your dream space. Look how pretty that is. Even though this is a shitty, it's like this reminds us to please, we should have learned to nurture ourselves over here. But if shit didn't happen, you're getting wham-bammied. So what cures that is by going higher, like it cures everything. The completion of the Swords is kind of crazy to me because it's like a in the minor arcana. I mean, this is the completion of the Sword, Fool's journey with this part of it. But it's like, you've been defeated with and it's a metaphor of letting all the completion of really just stop mental masturbation, stop mind fucking yourself, right? And then that's when you get into, the king and the queen who've mastered their emotions a bit. And before that, we've got the page, and they got to go out. They're all gung-ho, the court cards, and sometimes it can be reckless. A lot of times, the Knight of Swords reminds me a lot of, in my own personal readings, reminds me of somebody that won't give up on something in the mental state. And then the Page of Swords also is trying to protect this. So it's like they're kind of like in some of the, it's like it's a sister, and that's the brother of the Fool. I don't know, the Fool, if you paired them up. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that if you let the sun illuminate the mind of these things and learn to go through these, because we all have this shit in life. I mean, it's not like we haven't all been through betrayal. It's not like we haven't all been through heartbreak or indecision, or feeling like we have this great idea and we're invincible, and then, the resting, the recuperation, all the different things that you have to go through in the sword suit. It's just a shit show, but it's there, and when you master it, like sometimes if I would do a reading, okay, let's say I meditate and then I do a reading for someone. The king and the queen, I always usually do it, like I'll lay some out. I have a system, and then I do the surface reality, deep reality. And let's just give an example. Like the other day I did one where the king, I think it was the queen or the king of swords, which doesn't matter. Masculine, we have all of that inside of us. It doesn't matter what, it still represents the energy of the same thing. But then I had the Empress below it on the deep level. And it's like, so this person is putting up the queen and the king of swords are known to be kind of cold on the surface. But deep below this reading, I could see this person was like, I already felt it anyway, but she was really, this happened to be a female, but she really was a nurturer and in her deepest core. But then, the other cards lays out why and what's crossing and all of that. So it depends on where these show up, if anybody does tarot or wants to know about it. But the moon is what the it's like what's hiding, what's hidden, kind of like the deep. The sun is like what's illuminated. So in any of these suits, but definitely we're talking about just the swords. I just felt like I needed to bring the swords in today because they've been coming up a lot. And anyway, so we definitely want to keep all of these things and moving through this experience with our raising up to beyond the neocortex energy of the secondary consciousness. So just keeping that in mind. And I guess I just maybe ranting a little bit, but I just needed to talk about those swords, man, because it's one of the craziest little. But again, it depends on where it's at in the reading or what's coming up with it. Like basically, it could just be because you're trying to decide between two jobs, and when the swords comes up, then you have to be moving on. And this could mean that too. But I'm just going through the sword suit as I see it as the spiritual layout. Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you all. Don't forget, if you would like a personal reading, I'm always available with my website in the description box below. And readings or any kind of spiritual counseling, homeopathy, and if you're in the Arizona area, obviously Rolfing structural integration, postural integration. So just, and then my daughter, of course, again, just to put a shout out with that, she does a face healing, we call it, microneedling, all the things that keep us rejuvenated. We always need a little help if we're going to stay on this planet. We want to stay beautiful and juicy. So don't forget your joints, juicy, your yoga, moving through experiences. And until next time, blessings, y'all. Love you.